Hello, hello, hello. It is F1 Spud here, and welcome to a brand new video. Sorry, it's been a couple of weeks. It's meant to be weekly. I went away for a few days, etc. And today we are going to be talking about the Saudi League and why the Saudi League needs a wage cap, in my opinion, before it spirals out of control. So I'm going to talk about a few players and a few moves that are potentially happening, and the salaries that are getting reported. Obviously, this is being filmed today, which is Saturday for me, but it'll be out tomorrow, which is today for you if you're watching it when it just comes out. But yeah, hopefully you enjoy. Drop a like on this one. I'm not sure what we're going to do next week. If we might do a specific player or something, I'm not too sure on that. But let's see if we hit 10 likes here. I'm just going to go into why the Saudi League needs to have a wage cap, and I'm going to talk about the Chinese League. I might even talk about like the Super League, etc. But yeah, let's get into it. So this is why the Saudi League needs to have a salary limit. Okay. So we're going to start obviously with Karim Benzema. So Karim Benzema has joined the Saudi League. Obviously he's reportedly earning around $215 million. To put that into perspective, an NFL team's salary cap for the year is $225 million. So NFL players don't earn anywhere near this amount, and they're playing at the highest stage. And obviously the Saudi League is not the highest stage. It's not even a top 10 league. It's probably not even a top 15 league. I mean, if you think you've got leagues that are probably better than the Saudi League, I mean, you've obviously got like Portugal, France, Netherlands. They're just a few of them. This sort of money is ridiculous, but the Saudis do want control of sports. I've also heard now that they are looking at potentially trying to get into tennis, and I just think that this is just going to carry on. We'll talk about that shortly though. Yeah, so they want the Saudi Pro League to be full of world-class players, either in their prime or at the end of their career, like Benzema, like Ronaldo, who are at the end of their careers. Now, we're going to talk about Chelsea. They're selling their deadwood to Saudi Arabia. They're selling Mendy, Ziyech and Koulibaly. I mean, Koulibaly only joined last summer, but he was terrible. They're going to make about £45 million in sales here, which will help them with financial fair play. It'll help them go for players like Caicedo, Nicholas Jackson, etc. Now, Koulibaly's 31 now, I believe. He'll be earning around £400,000 to £500,000 per week. After the season he's just had at Chelsea, does he deserve to be making that money? Of course he doesn't. It's ridiculous wages to basically make European competitors that wanted Koulibaly, like Inter Milan, not be able to afford him because they got for the money. Kante also chose to reject a new contract at Chelsea for a huge pay rise at Al Ittihad, joining Karim Benzema. I believe this deal is going to give him over €100 million, at least. He's a great player still, but he's so injury prone, it's outrageous. He played like 3 or 4 games for Chelsea last season. I really think, honestly, maybe it was the right decision not to give him a new contract, but that's basically him sorted now, money-wise. He's fine. He's earning a ludicrous amount of money. Obviously, like I've said, Chelsea selling the deadwood to a league that will have these players that are deadwood to a team like Chelsea, who came 12th in the Premier League, as star players in the Saudi League. I mean, Edouard Mendy was unbelievable for 18 months, arguably the best keeper in the world when Chelsea won the Champions League. And now he plays second fiddle to Kepa. And he's had his fair few injuries as well. Now, the 4 players in question are also Muslim, and it remains to be seen if they target more Muslim players, which is understandable if they do. It's quite interesting. I don't know if that's just a coincidence. I did hear rumours that Lukaku was wanted by Saudi Arabia, but he doesn't want to join Saudi Arabia. But yeah, I don't know if that's just a coincidence or not, but obviously it might not be. So we'll just have to see what happens with future transfers. I do also know that Mahrez has been linked to Saudi Arabia as well. Wilfried Zaha. Now, this one's kind of gone under the radar a bit. It's gone a bit quiet. I don't think he's going to join, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. So, Wilfried Zaha has been at Palace for a while. Since his flop move at Man United, he came back to Palace. cemented the goals and assists. He's a well-liked player at Palace. However, he has been offered contracts for teams that are playing in the Champions League next season, such as Lazio, such as, I believe, Borussia Dortmund were interested but didn't offer him a contract. Or he could stay at Palace. I have heard Palace have put a £200,000 a week contract in his hands. Now, that's a lot of money to get at Palace. I believe that would be the most money a Palace player's earned as well. Or he could go to Saudi Arabia. He's been offered a deal by Al Nassr with a huge salary. He's nearing the end of his prime years, and with injuries occurring more frequently, this could be his last chance to play in the Champions League. However, teams like Palace and Lazio can't offer the wages that Al Nassr are offering, so it's up to Zaha if he wants money or if he wants passion. Obviously, we'd be on a strong team with Al Nassr, with rumours of Ziyech and Brozovic also joining Ronaldo and co. Obviously, they've got good players, Al Nassr, you know, Anderson Talisca. He's been around, but he's never actually played in a competitive league, really. He's played in China, and then he moved to Saudi Arabia. I mean, at least he's going to be loaded, I guess, but doesn't get to play in the Champions League. If I was Zaha, personally, I would go to Lazio. He's played in England for a while now, and I think it'd be a nice change. Then in a few years after Lazio, when he's getting towards the end of his career, then maybe he joins the Saudi Pro League. I just think this is a perfect opportunity for Zaha to play Champions League football with a team like Lazio and try out a different country as well. Right, this one pissed me off. I'm not going to lie to you. Ruben Neves. When I was hearing that Ruben Neves was linked to Al Hilal, I was hoping it was just going to be paper talk. He wanted Barca and he agreed personal terms with Barca since April, right? He wanted to play in the Champions League again because I believe that before he joined Wolves in the Championship, he captained Porto in a Champions League game. And someone did actually say this. They said that you could tell that Neves would join Al Hilal after he went from being a Champions League captain to playing in the Championship. And he's joined Al Hilal for €55 million, and he only had 1 year left in his deal, so it's good money for Wolves, but on a huge salary as well for Ruben Neves. I believe he's ultimately ruined his career doing this, though. He chose money over success and passion. You get one football career, and this quality player chose to play in a league that is barely watched, except in Arabia, over a worldwide team such as Barcelona, or even just stay at Wolves. I'm not sure what this will do to his... I don't believe this would affect or impact his chances of playing in the national team, because of course Ronaldo plays for Al Nassr, he still starts for Portugal. Obviously Ronaldo is a different player to Ruben Neves in many ways. There was a rumour that Newcastle would loan Neves straight away, and ultimately, and deservedly so, that has caused up a huge stir up on Twitter. However, I just believe that was paper talk. I don't think that would happen. I know that other teams do it, such as like Watford and Udinese, but obviously they're not owned by the state of Saudi Arabia. I will just say this now, I don't have an issue with Saudi Arabia owning Newcastle. I'm not here to start slandering them for owning Newcastle because they finished ahead of Liverpool. I don't give a shit about that. I just don't like the fact that they're buying players for ridiculous amounts and then being linked to loaning them in Newcastle, because I just don't agree with it personally. But I don't think that would happen anywhere. The wages, now this is the main one for me. So other players such as Bernardo Silva, Thomas Partey, and as I mentioned earlier, Riyad Mahrez are getting offered mad wages, and FIFA need to put a salary cap on the league. China used to do this, but then had a limit on foreign players. The president of China wanted China to have a really strong national team. So when the limit on foreign players occurred, some players that were playing in China applied to represent China at national team level. Such as a Brazilian striker called Evan Nielsen, I believe he was called. And it's not the one that plays for Porto, it was a different one. So China had a stronger team, and it would obviously mean that they could sign more foreign players. However, when you think about it now, you don't really hear much about the Chinese league. They put the limit on so that Chinese players in their own country can develop and become good players, rather than just buying loads of players from overseas. I think Saudi Arabia could do this. However, I think it's the wage cap that's most important. I don't specifically say, oh, you have to earn £5 a week if you play in Saudi Arabia, but I believe that each team should have a pool of wage money that they're not allowed to go over or under. A bit like how there's a lot of like budget caps in a lot of different sports, such as Formula 1, etc. I just think that the fact that they're taking players in their best years away from the big European leagues because they're offering outrageous wages is just not fair. But then, here's the thing. If you were on 20 grand a week at Bournemouth, or got offered £350,000 a week at Al Nassr, which one would you pick? Because that's a huge amount of money change. That's a huge financial change to your life, ultimately. I think if it was like less than double, I would obviously stay in Europe though. Because players getting offered 50 million a year is just disgraceful in order to promote sports in that country, etc. They've already bought golf, and as I mentioned earlier, they're trying to get into tennis. They've obviously, they have an F1 race, etc. It's just going to carry on. Unfortunately, it's just going to carry on. Yeah, so, unfortunately, it's not ideal, I know that, but, I mean, Phil Mickelson, I believe, Tiger Woods actually was offered $700 million a year, I think, to play on the Live Golf. And he turned it down, which is crazy. Just to let you know, I don't have an issue with players that are close to retiring joining the Saudi League. I just wish players in their prime years, such as Bernardo Silva, Ruben Neves, didn't go and get outrageous and unrealistic wages. Now, before all of this stuff came out about the Saudi League trying to get players and that, if you remember a couple of years ago, Matheus Pereira for West Brom, he was one of West Brom's only good players when they went down in 2020-21 Premier League season. People were like, oh, all the Premier League teams are going to go in for him. He could even join like Tottenham or a team a bit lower down than that. And instead he went to Saudi Arabia, and he got a lot of backlash for it. Because I think at the time he was only 24 or 25. But then he said in an interview it was for his family that he did it. But, yeah, I don't like seeing players in their primes doing that, to be honest. Anyway, that is it from me on this one. Just a bit of a shorter one today, obviously. Next week, I'm not sure what we're going to do next week as such. I'll see if there's any major topics. Like anything that comes out in the footballing news, etc. I might put a poll up on Twitter. I did for this one. I believe it was either to do about Messi, Saudi League, Lucas Paquetá's transformation, or Liverpool's midfield rebuild. I might do Liverpool's midfield rebuild. I'll just say, alright, thanks everyone for watching though. Have a great rest of your day. I'll also be live on Twitch on Sunday, so today, if you're watching it today. So yeah, I'll see you there, hopefully. Alright, cheers guys.